Bombshell news as Warner Brothers admits that they think Aquaman 2 will flop to the point that they are admitting to 3 rounds of reshoots a year and a half after the original film is wrapped. Why? Because they're having endless test screenings, and those test screenings, oh man, audiences, they do not like this movie at all. What's interesting is that Warner Brothers is now admitting to just how badly that this went too, with bosses getting involved after test screenings. They were called uninspired, and from what I hear, one of the major critics of this movie is the man in charge at Warner Brothers, Zaslav himself. It's gotten so bad, in fact, that they're talking about delaying the movie yet again. That's right, they're using the strikes, but they know behind the scenes that all the blowback for AH and this being a terrible movie, it will cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. You and I, we're going to talk about that today and more. This is fun times too. This is fun times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day. By the way, I hope you are doing excellently. So talk about an absolute bombshell that confirms everything I've been saying about Warner Brothers panicking because they know that Aquaman 2, it's going to indeed flop. They've admitted now that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, it has gone through 3 rounds of reshoots. 3 rounds is insane, by the way. This for a movie that wrapped a year and a half ago. So they're still going through reshoots. Why? Well, again, they've been doing test screenings, multiple ones. They've been trying to hide this, but they have no faith in the movie. They think it's going to fail. With even the shill sites being forced to admit that this is bad, and we are talking about major problems bad, with them saying that this is unprecedented for a movie that this size. And why are they admitting it? Well, one of the stars came out. They talked about this. They admitted that reshoots, they were happening through June. I mean, listen to this. This is mind-blowing when you think about it. Quote, more than a year and a half after filming first wrapped on Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, a 3rd round of reshoots has recently been completed. The key word there, by the way, recently. Again, we're talking about a movie that was supposed to come out December 2023. While reshoots have become common in big budget movies like this, a 3rd round is said to be quote unquote unprecedented for a movie this size, according to the Hollywood Reporter. So you have 2 shill sites reporting this, the Hollywood Reporter and the Daily Mail. They're getting in and saying, yeah, this isn't good at all. The most recent round of reshoots, they took place in New Zealand mid-June. We're talking about June 2023 here, just to make that point very clear. And they don't involve some low tier, going in and doing CGI workups. No, they were involving Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, and they also involved one of the other major players, Patrick Wilson. Now, what's truly fascinating about all of this, by the way, is that the shill sites, they admit why this is having problems. They know they keep bringing up a certain name. That name, AH, they draw parallels to The Flash with this as well, saying, the problems that this movie experienced, yeah, they're like the other problems that The Flash experienced too. And Warner, they won't confirm anything about AH or reshoots at all. I mean, listen to what they have to say here. There is no indication yet if AH was part of the reshoots, which comes just days after she broke her silence about returning to play Queen Mira. I found it fascinating, by the way. We find out that there are reshoots. Right after those reshoots, we find out Jason Momoa, he's unfollowed AH. He doesn't seem very happy with her. Maybe all of that stuff links up. Then they tell you that Warner Brothers has not yet shifted the December 20 release date. So you can tell that they're expecting this a year past the original slated date of December 16th, 2022, with a movie that spanned 3 separate regimes at Warner Brother and DC Studios, much like The Flash. That's right. When you're talking about problems there, you have all the controversy, you have the regime changes. This movie, like I said, is expected to flop. Warner Brothers knows it, people attached to it, and the shill sites, they're bracing for that as well. They're bracing for this thing to flop so hard, in fact, that they're talking about moving it yet again. Now, there's a lot of excuses with this, too. They talk about, oh, well, the strikes. Yeah, the strikes. And hey, if the actors come out, they can promote it. Never mind the fact that nobody's been promoting this thing. It's like it doesn't exist outside of headlines. But listen to this here. And when you do, remember the fact that it already cost over $200 million. That's before the last round of reshoots. And if they move it, yeah, they're going to balloon that budget yet again because they'll do more screenings. They'll do more test reshoots. They think, hey, maybe if we can just do something, maybe that will do something about it. But listen here, quote, Warner Brothers Discovery is considering shifting release dates for the end of the year, including Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It's just like I said, by the way, in other videos, that's what they're thinking about doing. According to a new report from Variety, Warner Brothers Discovery is exploring some options of what to do with its remaining films of the year. As the strikes continue, studios are already turning an eye toward the end of the year and beyond. Should the strikes last to the end of 2023, as some analysts are predicting, this would mean actors would be able to promote their movies. Again, you see how they're blaming this. They're saying strikes. That's the reason we're going to do it. Yeah, sure, strikes. We're going to talk about promotional. Again, doesn't matter if anybody's never talking about this, if they have internal friction and beyond. That's what they're waiting for. It would mean a large gap in 2024 of new films hitting theaters. And this is not a new movie, by the way. This is one of the holdouts, one of the things that Warner Brothers, they wanted to ghost, but they don't know what to do with it. What amazes me is that Warner admits that they know they need to fix this movie too. They know what one of the big problems is as well, but they won't fix that. No, they try to slap Band-Aids on, trying to make the movie different without removing that person because, they're afraid of what the media will say there, I'm sure. But yeah, this was called uninspired in test screenings. The bosses, they get involved. They start running with reshoots. They made it worse, apparently. They got even lower scores, I'm going to say, because they don't fix the major issue that 5 million people, they wanted out. You know exactly who I'm talking about there. Yeah, this tells you, though, Warner, they have a mess on their hands. They know it is a mess. They are expecting to lose hundreds of millions. They don't want it to happen. Oh, man. I mean, you talk about big time news here. But let me know what you think about this. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Thank you. Can't say that enough. Want to help out the channel? Links are in the description. Could always use your help, but spread this everywhere. Subscribe. Thank you. Gonna end here.